Hey everybody, Aaron here. Welcome back to another anime review. Today we look at Tales of Zestiria the X Season 2 Episode 1 or Episode 13 or Episode 14, whatever the hell if this episode actually is titled. From the website we know it's Episode 13. I make that joke though more so because Funimation from what I hear had issues uploaded the first episode of the second core because they actually put down episode 14 originally, then put down episode 13. And as many of you know, that comes for the whole issue with the whole episode 0 thing that came out, where then websites were putting episode 1, 2, etc. because they didn't know what the hell was, was it 0, was it 1, etc. So, I'll say right now, this is episode 13. I'm actually going to go off of that order based off the first season. So, episode 13, 14, etc. Anyways, so not much happened in this episode. I'm gonna be honest with you guys and girls, and it's not. That doesn't mean it's bad by any means necessary. It was a good episode. I think I'm kind of happy that it got reintroduced to everyone and stuff like that. But you're gonna notice that I'm not gonna be talking too much about the images that are coming up. Like for example, this image right here is Saray training, but I'm not gonna be really doing my usual thing because not much happened. This whole episode was very lull. It was more so just to kind of introduce new characters, also at the same time introduce the original characters and talk about some kind of foreshadowing moments. Like, for example, where Lila at the very beginnings talk about how malevolence, is getting worse and worse in her head, and she thinks that, when she saw her original shepherd trying to fight against it, he lost himself. And they do show the shepherd originally a few images of him from behind to kind of show that he was becoming very dark in his own head. The very beginning image that you saw was them just kind of at a intersection where they were trying to meet with these merchants, and they find out the merchants are kind of bad, etc. Rose is there to kick ass like she always does. She is awesome. I mean, here we have an introduction which I actually think was kind of cool. They finally introduced them at all. This is Maven. Now Maven was actually introduced in the first game very early on. That was like when you first met Rose. They introduced him here, which is way after the fact, but I'm glad they introduced him at all. He's very similar to Saray, where he does a lot of the artifact stuff. He's really into ruins, exploring ruins and stuff like that. But this whole episode was a more so, I think, just meant to show these new characters off, show some introductions, talk about some of the characters, kind of put everyone back at ease with it, not just throw them into a chaotic thing. Because as we know, the first season ended off a huge battle, and then kind of ended with them all parting ways. And I think that was the focus of this, whereas it's like, okay, let's reintroduce the audience to everyone again, kind of just show a little bit of what's going on, but more so, not much else. And I'll know this right now that not a lot of this was actually in the game. Most of this was original material. Like, the place they're at, mind you, is part of the game, but the rest of the stuff, like where they're in the barn talking about one another, for example, where Saray is with the General Sergei and Maven. They're talking together because Sergei actually wants to pull him in to be arrested because he's too powerful, as he deems it. But they end up talking to one another, kind of trying to figure out one another. And this is kind of where you just learn some more background story about these characters, and it's really not anything that interesting or that necessary to know. I hate to say it. I think this was probably the weakest part of this episode. But you know what? I'll say this right now. Like, I mean, it's not that I hated this episode. Like, it makes it sound like I kind of hate this episode, right? And I do apologize if that's the way it's coming off. But it's more so that I felt like I wanted more from this first episode because I was very excited for Tales of Zestiria the second season. I mean, the first season I had issues with. I said that in my reviews for it. But I was excited for this, and I just felt a little bit let down, to be honest. I think a lot of people may feel like that. Maybe people will be super happy that it's back at all and won't see that. I mean, like, this ending right here was probably very cool, where we had Rose's sparrow feathers actually go out and, I'm sorry, sparrow feathers. That's when they're normal. This is the scattered bones when they're actually, the assassins they are. They went to meet a church bishop to talk to him about how he's been stealing money from people and killing people off in the place like that. It just felt unnecessary. Like, that was an unnecessary moment. But I mean, I understand what they're trying to do. I get it. But I just felt like this whole episode kind of felt unnecessary. And it wasn't the best way, I think, to start off a second core. I really feel like it could have done a lot more, to be honest with you. But overall, hey, listen, we got Tales of Zestiria again. I'm happy about it. I want to see some more. Hopefully, they keep doing the great animation, because I'm always seeing great animation from this. Even the very simplistic scenes we saw were greatly animated. Hopefully the voice acting still stays stellar, and the music. The opening song, I don't like it as much as the first season, to be honest, but I don't dislike it either. I think it's decent. Hopefully next season we get the Flows ending, because I want to hear that. I've heard already some parts of it, but I'll tell you guys and girls what I feel about it when it's actually in the show. Anyways, guys and girls, I will talk to you all later. Look forward to my last episode review of Aoni, because that comes out later today. And also I will be doing I think a JoJo review tomorrow because I have an announcement to make tomorrow also that's very important for you guys to hear in case you are new to my channel and haven't heard it yet. Anyways, I will talk to you guys later. Have a great, blessed day, everyone. As always, if you like this review, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share the video. You know the whole nine. I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.